when I was around mile 180, I was starting to hallucinate really bad. At that time, I saw a girl with no legs. It was in the middle of nowhere, and then I saw a girl with no legs on the side of the trail, and then I went up to her and I asked her, "Are you okay? Do you need any help?" Because at that time I was already I was just in a bad shape. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing saying. So when I asked her, "Are you okay?" she smiled at me, and then I felt this cool breeze um, all over my face, my ears. Just this cool, uh, scary feeling. And then so she just smiled at me, and then I just turned around and I kept going. And then I turned around to look at her again, and she kept staring at me, smiling at me. And then once again I felt that cool breeze just down my ears. So I didn't have a good feeling, so I just kept going. And then a few miles down the road, I saw this scary face, but it was just a bunch of sticks. Once I got right in front of that tree, I realized it was just a tree. So and then I just kept going. And then once I got to mile 200, I had no time to sleep, no time for nothing, no naps, nothing. So I just had to change shoes, eat hot soup, and just keep going.
This is your host, Brendan, and you're listening to the Ordinary to Ultra podcast. This podcast is all about helping you run your first ultramarathon and beyond. Tune in to hear new and experienced ultra runners share how they got into running in the first place, what inspired them to run an ultra, training and race day tips, and the gripping story of their first ultramarathon. Prepare yourself to be inspired as you hear stories of grit, sometimes failure, but ultimately triumph when our guests finally cross the finish line. Few clothing companies out there have actual trail runners design their trail running clothes, and Territory Run Co. is the few. Brett Farrell, the founder of Territory Run Co., has been an avid trail runner for over 15 years, and he has designed some of the most thoughtful, functional, and just cool trail running clothing I've ever worn. 5-panel hats, t-shirts, sun shirts, shorts, socks, beanies, and more. They've got it all. I personally, though, love Territory Run Co.'s products for 2 reasons. First, I love their vibe. Most running brands are built around this performance is everything vibe, like work hard, sweat hard. That's fine, but we have enough of those. Territory Run Co. is built around the feeling that you get when you go out and try a new trail for the first time, or when you go on a trail running trip with friends. Second, Territory Run Co. builds their products for trail runners by trail runners. I have 2 of their hats, and they're my go-to running hats because they're incredibly light, super breathable, have super cool outdoorsy patterns, and I can throw them in the washing machine, which is super convenient. But what I love most about them is they have a little loop that goes around that floppy strap in the back of the hat that keeps it from flopping in front of your face if you're wearing it backwards, which is fantastic. Anyway, if y'all are in the market for some trail running hats or clothing, go check out Territory Run Co. And lucky for you, Brett has hooked me up with a coupon code for the listeners of this podcast. So head over to territoryrun.co and use the code ordinary to ultra20 to get 20% off your first order. Both the website and the code are listed in the show notes of this episode. So go down to the show notes, copy the code, tap the link, and get some sick gear. All right, thanks for listening. Now back to the show. Hey, Jorge, thanks so much for joining me today, man. I'm super excited to chat with you and your story. You've been trail running and running for a while. This will be good.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Jorge, to kick things off, man, I'd love to have you just introduce yourself at a high level, like how old you are, where you live in, what you do for work, what your family looks like, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I'm Jorge Hernandez. I've been running for about 7 years. I live in the Spanish Fork. I work at the state prison. I just barely graduated from the police academy. So new career, and I'm excited to see what's gonna be like.
Yeah. That is congratulations. That's super exciting. And did you say how old you are? Maybe I
I'm
missed it.
41.
41.
2 kids.
2
Yeah,
kids.
my son's 15. He'll be going to high school this year, and my daughter will be going to ninth grade. She's 14.
Awesome, awesome. They're close. That's cool. Close in
Yeah.
age. Do they get along?
No,
No.
no, no.
Dang it.
Every day arguments, fighting every day.
Oh, dang. Well, dang. I have a daughter and a son on the way. Hopefully they can be
No.
friends.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of siblings, they don't get along.
Yeah. Dang, I'll make them get along. Um, well, hey, thanks for the brief intro there, Jorge. And before we get into things too, I'm curious with your job. So are you already starting at the state prison? Have you already started? Yeah,
Not yet. I'll
not
start
yet.
in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah. So right now
Um,
we're just going to the firearms training.
got it. Very cool. Yeah, just curious, what kind of firearms will you be holding? Like
So we have
handguns, rifles?
yeah, we have a handgun, a Glock 19, and then we have a
Yeah.
shotgun and
Uh-huh.
a AR-15.
Dang. You're gonna have all three?
No,
You're
no,
just all armored up.
they're just in the
Just kidding.
control room in case we need them.
Got it. Very cool, very cool. I was gonna ask, when do you usually get your running in around work?
I don't have a set schedule, so just whenever I have time to do it. But it's mostly in late afternoons,
Okay. Dang.
so like
It's
after
hot.
6, 7.
Yeah, that's hot at the end of a Utah day these days.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like 90s, 100 maybe.
yeah,
Whew.
which is very helpful to train for heat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should tell us all about that when we get into the stories of your ultras. I wish that I had done more training in heat. I still have some time, but I like to run in the mornings. It's hard to want to run in the heat when it's so nice in the morning. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not a morning person, so
Well then that works. Works for you. Well, Jorge, answer me this. What got you into running in the first place, and when was that?
so about 7 years ago, I went um, mountain biking with my friend, and I realized that I was way out of shape. I couldn't even
Okay.
finish the trail, you know.
Mm,
So I realized, I need to do something because I can even ride a bike, a mountain bike. So
hmm
right after that, that was in June, and then the year after, then month after, I signed up for the first Spartan race. With,
Dang. Wait, the month after you rode the bike,
yeah,
you signed up for a Spartan race. Okay.
yeah, in July. So I did
S-
the beast,
the beast. And how long did you have to train for?
uh, just like
A
a
week?
week or two.
Goodness. You're like, okay, this is how I'm gonna train or
Yeah,
get healthy. I'm gonna go do a Spartan.
yeah,
Goodness gracious.
yeah. I didn't know much about Spartan races at the time, so I just um, somehow I saw it on Facebook, and then I noticed they were gonna have one the next month in July, so I signed up.
Dang. Dang. You're crazy.
Yeah,
Like, it would have been one thing to sign up for a half marathon, but you signed up for a Spartan. So you got all these like obstacles and probably a lot of vertical gain too.
yeah.
Yeah, tell
So
us about that. What kind of obstacles and stuff and
so
did you encounter?
you go over walls under barbed wire. You have to carry heavy buckets full of rocks, sandbags up the hill, down the hill. You have to do a bunch of burpees. If you fail to do any of the obstacles, that's your punishment. You got to do 10 burpees.
Oh, okay. But you can continue. You can
Yeah,
fail one and keep going.
yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
cool.
And then you have to go do rope climb
Uh-huh.
and then lift a big huge stone. So go back and forth with a huge rock.
Dang. Like
So
holding it,
yeah,
lifting it. Dang.
yeah. So stuff like that for um 13 miles.
Yeah. Man. And how did your body take that?
Mm,
Having
I, I, I
yeah.
wasn't too sore.
No?
No, I was more dehydrated than sore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was
Did you get
in July up in the Ogden Canyon.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I've heard, yeah, I see them on Facebook all the time. I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't know, is that something that I want to get into? Yeah, it's like a whole nother thing, like obstacle course racing instead of distance racing. Yeah,
yeah.
sounds fun.
So I did about 10. I did about 10 of them, um, and then after that, I signed up for my first full marathon.
Okay, how long ago was the
So
marathon?
that one was 2 years after.
2 years after. So
Yeah,
yeah, about 5 years ago. And just to recap too, you pretty much started running because you wanted to get fit. You wanted
yeah,
to like lose some weight, be a little more fit so you could have fun in the mountains so you didn't
yeah,
get winded when you mountain bike or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Solid.
I got competitive doing the Spartan race. I even qualified for the trifecta in Greece.
Did you do it?
Too expensive.
Oh, they make you pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had to you had to pay for the plane ticket, hotel, all of that.
Dang. Oh, that
Yeah.
would have been cool. But yeah, I get that. I just I'm doing this 3 race series in Park City
Oh,
and yeah, maybe you've done them. The people who win the one that I just did, the Jupiter Peak 25K, the 2 winners, and then a lottery ticket got to go. They're going to the Andes and doing 100K, a hundred
oh,
K. But I think it might be over several days. But I
oh,
remember seeing 100K. I was like, wow, it's a big jump from 25K to 100K. But
yeah.
uh, yeah. Anyway, but I think that it said all expenses paid. So I was like, oh, that's actually cool
Oh,
because
yeah.
like, yeah, then you get a free
You,
ride over
you
there.
definitely cannot miss that.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Anyway, that'd be cool if it was paid, but yeah. Uh, I mean, it's one thing to like go. I would probably just want to go to vacation to Greece instead
Yeah,
of run over there. I can run over here.
yeah,
Cool. So you got this marathon. You keep running. Then you got this marathon. How did that go?
yeah. So it was the Utah Valley Marathon actually.
Okay. Yeah. Does that go through a canyon or is it just
Yeah,
around the valley?
he goes down the Purple Canyon and then all
Okay.
University Avenue. So that one was my first one. You know, maybe it wasn't the smartest idea because I should have done half marathon, 10Ks, then move my way up to a full
Uh.
marathon. But I just said I'll just do a full marathon, and then I
Uh.
finished in 4 hours.
Wow. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then
Downhill. That's yeah.
I do a few more. The Sandy one, um, the Hobo Creek one, the Payson one, So I did about 6 full marathons, and then I thought, oh, maybe I can do my first ultra.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And I'm curious for your marathons around that time, do you remember how many days a week you were running and like how many miles you were putting in or
Um, no more than 30, no more than 20, 30 miles a week.
okay, awesome. And like did you run like every day or were you more like a 3 times a week kind of
Yeah,
person or
2, 3, 4 times,
yeah,
just
okay.
whenever I had time to go around.
Yeah, around work and stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Um okay, so then yeah, you thought and when did you learn about ultra marathons because like me when I first started running I had no idea ultra marathons existed and then I saw a YouTube video and that's how I learned
Mhm.
about what ultra marathons were but how did you hear
Uh,
about it?
Sometime after the Utah Body Marathon, I got a little uh, what was it? A paper that they were handing out after, and
Okay.
it's that's where I found out about the 50K in Draper.
Okay, they were handing out papers and did you know that there were races longer than marathons before that
At that
or
time, no,
no, so that's how you figured it out. You got a
no,
paper and you were like,
yeah, just a paper saying, "Hey, there's a 50K."
50K? How long is that?
Uh,
31 miles?
yeah, so I said, "Oh, I'm gonna sign up for this one too."
Cool. And was that a trail?
Yeah, trail.
Okay. So, and also up to that point, had most of your runs been on road? You got all these marathons. Spartans, are those on trail?
Yeah, trail.
Okay. So you've done some trail before.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they're all on trail.
yeah. Okay. Cool, cool. So this 50K, this was 4 years ago that it happened, or
About 5, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what did you do to train for this 50K?
Uh, I didn't do that much different than when I was running for the full marathon. I just
Okay,
kept running about the same 20 miles a week, just whenever I could.
okay. And did you mainly train on road or trail or both?
For that one, um, I train at the Y and then at the Provo Trail.
Yeah, so
So
a good
road
amount of
and
trail,
trail.
both.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, so you're living, were you still in Spanish Fork? Is that
Yeah.
where you lived then too?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Yeah, for those listening, Spanish Fork is by Provo, which is all south of Salt Lake City by like an hour or so.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of from that area too, so yeah. Um, very cool. This is all in Utah, of course.
Utah County.
Yeah, Utah County, south of Salt Lake. So, okay, you put in like 20 miles a week, you're training. Did you have some marathons that were close to it too? So you were running some longer races right before the 50K, or was that the only one you did that year, the 50K? Was that the
No, I
longest
did
race
some
you
other
did?
ones.
Yeah, you did some marathons before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Some
Cool, cool.
marathons. And then I think I did about 3 half marathons.
Yeah, okay. So you got some solid training in, some long distance stuff. Prep races.
Yeah. And I was still doing
Okay.
Spartan races, but
Yeah,
only one. I only one a year.
one a year. Yeah, man, like since then, how many races were you doing a year?
Oh, but that time I was doing 6, 7, 8.
Goodness gracious. You went crazy, Jorge. You were
Mm.
like, I'm really gonna do this running thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotta collect the medals.
yeah. I liked it, so I thought I'm gonna keep signing up.
Yeah. That's sweet. Yeah, I bet your medal wall is a lot crazier than mine. My medal wall has 5 medals right now. You've probably got like 50.
I wish.
What do you mean? Do you know how many medals you have?
No,
No.
I just
See,
keep
you
hanging
can't
them on my
count.
wall. That's all I do.
Exactly. That's cool, man. Okay. So how did the 50K go? It sounds like you're probably super trained for it. And actually, could you tell us in as much detail as you remember, everything you can remember about that 50K, the day you ran it, like from the morning till you crossed the finish line? What do you remember about like that morning when you started the race? If anything crazy happened during the race, how you're feeling during the race, all up until you cross the finish line. I don't know what
It
you can remember
wasn't. It
about it.
wasn't too hard. Um,
Yeah,
I felt good the whole time. There were about two or three really steep hills
yeah,
right in the middle of the race, and I had a hard time going up those hills because I wasn't training that much
hills.
for uphill. I was just training, flat mostly. So I had a
Yeah.
hard time going up those 3 hills. But those 3 hills are tricky because once you go up one, you think that's the only one. But once you get to the top, then there's another one, and then you think, okay, that's it. And then once you get to the top of the second one, there's actually a third one. So it messes with your head, with your mind, because you just keeps going and going and going, and you just keep going up and up and up.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you remember about
Yeah, and then I saw a snake that I never seen before because that one had different colors.
Oh shoot.
Yes, no, I seen black snakes, I seen rattlesnakes, but I never seen one that had red and yellow and white. I think so. A completely
What?
different snake that I never seen before, and I don't even think that we had those in Utah.
Yeah. That sounds like a coral snake.
That's what I thought too. I thought we don't have those here in Utah.
No, those are like one of them's there's 2 that look similar, and one of
Yeah.
them's like super poisonous.
Yes. Yep.
What the heck?
So
So did you almost step on this sucker?
yeah, but it,
Oh
it was
my
it was a baby
gosh.
one, so he was
Okay.
he wasn't too long. But
Well,
yeah,
that's worse.
I almost stepped on it. Yep.
Dang. Glad you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I remember. That snake, I still have it in my mind. I don't know.
Yeah. And how yeah, on those hills, did that really wipe you out? Like when you were getting towards the finish line, getting towards the
Yeah.
end, were you pretty exhausted?
Uh, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was able to walk the next day. Yeah. I was fine.
Okay. I mean, man, you're putting in lots of miles, so
Yeah. I think I
um
finished at the back of the pack,
the
or the
back of the
middle of the
pack.
pack. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Um and then when you cross the finish line, so this was your first ultra marathon, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you had lots of goals and lots of things going on. Did it feel like a triumphant moment, or was it kind of like, oh, there's another one, on to the next thing? Or how are you feeling when you crossed the finish line?
I felt um, surprised that I finished my first ultra. And I was surprised that I wasn't too bad of a shape. I wasn't too like, oh, I can't move anymore. I was walking just fine. So I thought, it wasn't too bad after all. No,
Yeah. And do you remember how much vertical gain there was on that Draper one? No,
no.
probably a decent amount. I know it's on the mountain. Probably
Yeah,
it's on the Suncrest Mountain, Draper Mountain.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did you go to the top of Suncrest by chance? Do you know where that is?
Is that by
It's like Draper, but on the top of that mountain that Draper is on. And if you go over Suncrest, you end up in Highland
Oh
or
yes, yep,
Alpine.
yeah,
Yeah, you were
yeah,
up there.
all the way to the top. Yep,
Yeah, that's. I'm sure there was a lot of climbing. Yeah, it's not like a super tall mountain, but it's still
it's pretty steep.
climbing. Yeah. Um, Very cool. Well, hey, you did your first ultra, and then did you have the ultra bug after that, where you're like, I don't know about these road races anymore. I want to do more trail, or what
No,
happened?
actually at the finish line, um, I asked because I had a friend and he's a runner too, and I asked him, "So are we done? Is this the finish line or is this a break?" Because I didn't even know if we were done, and he said,
Dang,
"Nope, you're done. This is it." I thought it was
so
maybe
you
like an aid station, but no, it was just uh, that was the finish.
dang. Did you? So did it feel kind of like sudden and incomplete because you were like, I could still go?
Yeah, you know, yeah.
Huh.
And then after that,
So
that's when I started looking for more ultras.
yeah, did you like immediately sign up for a 50 miler right after?
Right after that one, it was a 50 miler. Yes.
Nice. Utah, was it the Squaw Peak one or the Snow Peak?
Mm,
Mm.
no, that one was my second one. Uh,
You've
which one
done them
was it?
all.
It's in Moab.
You did Moab. Dead Horse?
Dead horse. There you go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I want that to be my first 50 because it's kind of flat, relatively flat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's runnable.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds nicer than up here in Logan. I'm in Logan, Utah. We've got the White Pine 50 miler, and it's got
Oh
like
yeah.
10,000 feet of elevation gain. And it just sounds like a lot to do. Like 50 miles is a long ways, and I'm gonna do 10,000 feet of climbing. I don't know. Anyway,
It just takes
okay,
training,
cool.
and then anybody can do it.
It's true. It's true. That's the question, though. Maybe you can tell me if you've hit a limit with training. But I look at the 50 milers, and I think I could probably put in the training for 50 miler. But then I look at 100 miler, and I'm like, that's double the distance,
Mhm.
and I'm probably going to need to be running almost every day to train properly for that. You can tell us what you did, but I just don't know that I'm willing to or want to put in the time to
Yeah.
train for that. I'd love to do a 100 miler. I think that'd be super cool, but I
Yep.
just don't know if I'm willing to put in the time. I don't know.
Yeah, it takes time. So it is hard to be able to just go out and just leave, your house and just go around for hours.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Like I've got work, I've got a family, you do too, like we've got other things. I got this podcast. We got other things going on. So yeah, it's hard to run all the time. It's like you don't have any other hobbies now. It's just like running is what you do.
Yeah. Yep. Whenever I have free
um,
time, that's all I think about. Oh, I can go for a run.
Dang. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, before we get into some, I know you mentioned offline before we started, you've got a special race you want to talk about today. But before we get there, I wanted to ask you, like, what kind of training did you do for the 50 miler? And then what kind of training did you do for your hundreds? Like, what kind of
Uh,
miles are you
for the
putting in
50
every week?
milers, I didn't do anything special. I just kept doing the same thing, just going up to the Y and going to the Provo Trail. Um, I went a few times up to Timpanogos Trail, but that's it. I didn't do much.
So you were still probably putting in like 20 to 30 miles a week?
Mm, yeah, for the 50 miler, yeah, not much different.
Dang.
Yeah,
Well,
it
thank you.
wasn't.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
And
It wasn't until I got to the hundreds and more that I really realized I really need to put more vert, more miles, and go different places to train.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. That's really cool. That's cool to hear that you were still able to like do a 50 miler and you felt pretty good at the end, even
Yeah,
though you only put in 20, 30 miles a week.
yeah. I think the 15 milers are fun. I don't think they're that hard, and the ones I did were runnable too. Like
Right.
like the
Yeah.
dead horse, all of those.
Yeah.
They're all not that bad.
Yeah, not that steep.
No.
And if you do a steep one that has, 10,000 feet of elevation gain, would you probably have trained more?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Good to
Yeah.
hear. I'm glad yeah, it sounds like I'm on the right track then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Um, Before we get to the special one too, what was your first 100 miler?
The first one was Bryce.
Oh,
Bryce 100.
really?
Yeah.
Bryce, that's pretty. I love that you've done like all of the races in Utah. You've done all of them. Nice.
I still had to
Have
do
you
the
done
Pony
all of them?
Express.
The pony. You still have to do that one?
Yep.
That's the only one?
I think so. Yeah.
Dang, that's so funny. That's crazy. Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, about like the miles too. And maybe before we get to the special one too, what kind of miles and training did you do for your 100 miler?
For that one, I was doing about 50.
50 a week?
Yeah.
Solid. And
Well,
more
no, not
climbing?
every week. So I wasn't being consistent, because of
Uh,
things going on. But
yeah.
I try to at least do 40, 50 miles each week.
Okay.
One
For
time, one
100.
week, I remember that I did about 60. So well, that was the most I was able to do.
Okay, 60. It's like your peak week. I want to look up the Bryce Canyon 100 miler, which is a vacation race.
Yep.
And I want to know, do you remember how much gain there was on Bryce?
No, all I
No.
remember is that rated level 5.
Difficulty or what? What
Yes.
does that mean?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Because they're rated from like level 1 to 5, and that one is like a 5, and science is like a level 4.
Okay. It looks like 63. How it is now is 6,300. 6,300 feet of elevation gain, which is pretty doable for 100, I would say. That seems low because, like, no, is that for the 50-mile distance? Anyway, yeah, that
Probably.
seems low. That, it's probably twice that because, yeah, Bryce, you go up and down the canyon.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
During the heat, so
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
really tough one.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing. Okay, now, I would love to hear what led you to sign up for this special event of a crazy distance that we
Oh,
talked about earlier.
because after I did the science, the Bryce, a few times actually, then um, on Facebook, I saw this girl Candice Burt, the owner of the Tahoe, Bigfoot, and Moab.
Okay.
So
Of the races, the
yeah,
owner of the races.
uh so Candice Burt, and I went on her website and I saw that she has 200. She's like the main person that founded the 200 milers.
Oof.
And then so I signed up for the Tahoe 200. So I did Tahoe about twice, and then I went to go pace my friend for the Bigfoot 200. Then that's when I did the Moab 240.
Oh, you had done 200s before you even did the Moab 240.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did a few hundreds, a few 200s before the Moab 240.
Goodness. Okay. That is crazy and awesome. What's the biggest difference in a 200-mile race versus 100 and less? Like what's I don't know, what are the big differences?
Those extra 40 miles make a big difference because
40?
yeah, because
Oh, between the 200 and the 240?
yeah, yeah. I
Huh.
mean, once you're running 200 plus miles, even 1 mile makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Because you're already tired, you're all beat up, you are completely drained. So even 1 mile feels like it's 10 miles.
Oh,
So for me, the big difference it's those extra 40 miles.
dang. Just another 40 miles. I mean, you'd done that. How many times had you done 40 miles already?
Yeah,
160 times, 200 times, 5. You'd already run 40 miles 5 times. It's just another 40 miles.
yeah.
Come on, Jorge.
Over almost 4 days of running.
4 days? Uh, okay. Tell us what that experience was like. And before you even get to the experience, like, what do you do to prepare? Like, training? What did training look like? What did you bring? Like, how do you prepare stuff for that? And like, how do they keep you nutrished and like nourished and fed and watered and all that? And then like, yeah, all. But first training, and then maybe get into that.
Okay. So for training for that one, I really put in a lot of miles. I was doing 60, 70 miles a week.
Okay.
But for that one, I did a lot more uphill. So I was going to the Timpanogos Trail once a week. Once a week, I was going all the way to the summit, all the way to the summit. And then um, I was running with a weighted vest up the Y.
Goodness.
So I was doing the Y 3 times with my weighted vest. So just up and down, up and down, up and down. Um, and then I was doing some swimming and biking for cross training. And then I was doing it during the day to help me with heat training. And then I was also doing night runs up at Squack Peak. So
Yeah.
11, 12, 1 in the morning, I was up there by myself, you know, um, just trying to run at night without a flashlight. I was trying to training without a flashlight. I mean, I did have one, but I wasn't using it because I had when I was running the Tahoe 200. Um, Something bad happened where my flashlight ran out of batteries. So I was in the middle of nowhere. It was like 2 in the morning. I was in. It was completely dark.
Yeah.
So I thought after that,
Uh,
I think I need to train to run without a light. That way, I don't panic. I can find my way down the trail. So that's what I was doing.
smart. As long as there was like enough light to see, like from the moon
Yeah,
still.
there was no moon. It was completely pitch black.
What the heck?
The only things that I was able to see was red eyes from the animals. Just red eyes everywhere. I was surrounded by red eyes.
Was that during Tahoe that
Yes.
you're saying that? Yeah. Dang. That sounds terrible. That would be a panic moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And once you're and, like the second day, all the runners are spread out. So you, you're not always running with the group that you started day one.
Yeah. Do you start 200s out like way slow or like kind of quick and then you just slow down
Yeah.
because
In the morning, early in the morning, I start a little fast just so I can get as many miles as I can before it gets hot. And then once it's getting hot, then I just slow down and just take it easy.
uh-huh.
And then once the sun starts to calm down, it's getting cooler. Then I pick it back up.
Got it. Smart. To conserve energy and not die from heat. Okay. Cool. Now we know sort of what kind of training you were doing. What time of year is the Moab 240?
That's in October, September, October, first week of October.
October. What were the temperatures middle of the day?
They were in the 80s, 90s,
Dang, still
70s.
pretty hot.
Yeah, it's still pretty
Yeah,
hot.
still pretty hot. Um, okay. So what do you do in a 200, 240, for Moab, like for energy? How does that work? Do they have like a mobile aid station or
Yeah,
aid stations or
they have
what?
8 stations, but the Moab 240, that one, the 8 stations are apart, like at least 15 miles apart.
15.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
section, you don't get to the next aid station until about 20 miles.
it's a long 20
Yeah,
miles.
so you really have to be carrying everything you need because you don't have access to your crew and you don't have access to aid station.
Yeah, so you got to make sure you got the water, the energy, or yeah, you might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right, man. Now that I understand sort of how these 240s and 200s go, I know this was about 2 years ago, right? So
The Moab, the last Moab 240, yeah, that one was 2 years ago.
that you did.
2 years ago. I actually no, that was last year.
Last year you did the
Yeah, because
240?
I done the Moab 3 times, and one I pace a friend. No, I pace for I paced 2 friends, 2 different years, and I done it. One was with this snowstorm, and the other one was
Ooh,
so I done it 2 years
okay.
and 2 years
Then the
pacing.
first and the first time you did it was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So give us a story, Jorge. How did that race go? From the morning of that you started, and like what all did you bring? Like what kind of equipment and stuff, and then tell us the story, like across the days and hours and different mile markers. Like how were you feeling? What was happening
So which one?
during
The one with the
this?
snowstorm, or the one, or the just this last one?
I'd probably say the first time you did the 240,
Oh, the
since
first one.
that was
That one was in the
the
snowstorm.
that's crazy. Yeah, tell us that one.
But that one doesn't have as many crazy things as the last one.
Well, then do the last one. Never
Oh,
mind.
yeah, the
Just a
last one.
snowstorm in the first one. That wasn't very eventful. That's just
No,
whatever.
it was just horrible.
That's so funny. But yeah, no, give us the eventful one then. Tell
Yeah,
us
so
all
that
about it.
one was just last year, and um, I had my two kids and my mom be my crew, which every year, every race, they always are there to help me at the aid stations or the crew stations. So that one at the Moab, I thought I was ready. I thought I was fully trained. I felt good about it, and then so I started going Friday morning, just taking it easy because for that one, even if it's early in the morning, I don't go fast. I take it easy the whole time because having to cover 240 miles, it's a long way. You gotta you gotta be able to save as much energy as you can. So I just taking it easy the first morning, taking pictures with my friends, just talking, hanging out, not going any speed. And then the first night, it was everything was fine. Um, I got to the mile 70 around 6 in the morning the next day. Um, I had my pacer waiting for me at mile 70, and then from there we went. And oh no, once I got to mile 70, I took a 2-hour nap, and then she woke me up, and then I got ready. I ate something, and then we kept going. Um, and about the third night, I was already having um, problems with sleeping. I was starting to hallucinate because I wasn't getting enough sleep. But I was
Yeah.
already running behind. I was already chasing the cutoffs. So I
Uh,
didn't get enough chance to take naps or anything. I just had to keep going from aid station to aid station.
oh,
So once I got to mile two, 200, I was better. I barely made it to the aid station on time, but they were about to close down the aid station, so they told me that I needed to get out of the aid station and just go take a break somewhere else. That way, I didn't get disqualified. So I just got something to eat, or my mom got something for me to eat, and then I went outside the aid station. That way, um, I could keep going. But my pacer had to go to work, so she only made it to mile 200. So after that, it was just all me. Um, so once I got to mile 200, I only had 10 minutes to get ready and stuff. So I changed shoes and everything. Um, no, but before that, when I was around mile 180, um, I was starting to hallucinate really bad. Um, at that time, I saw a girl with no legs. It was in the middle of nowhere, and then I saw a girl with no legs on the side of the trail, and then I went up to her and I asked her, "Are you okay? Do you need any help?" Because at that time I was already I was just in a bad shape. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing saying. So when I asked her, "Are you okay?" She smiled at me, and then I felt this cool breeze um, all over my face, my ears. Just this cool, scary feeling. And then she just smiled on me, and then I just turned around and I kept going. And then I turned around to look at her again, and she kept staring at me, smiling at me. And then I once again I felt that cool breeze just down my ears. So I didn't have a good feeling, so I just kept going. And then a few miles down the road, I saw this scary thing, scary face, but it was just a bunch of sticks. Once I got right in front of that tree, I realized it was just a tree. So I just kept going. And then once I got to mile 200, I had no time to sleep, no time for nothing, no naps, nothing. So I just had to change shoes, eat hot soup, and just keep going. And then I got to the last aid station, which was mile 220. That's the last one. I ate, but even just to get to mile 220, it felt forever. I felt that the miles just kept going, and I wasn't gaining any distance. I was just having a really really hard time. And then finally I made it to mile 220, and then they told me, the people at the aid station, they said 20 more miles, 20 more miles, you can do it. And that was during the day. That was like in 11 or 12 in the afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
And the final cutoff was that day at 11 p.m. So I ate, and then I kept going. But um, I was struggling a lot more, to the point where I was in the middle of the trail, screaming, yelling. I was dancing. I was talking to myself, and I didn't know where the trail was. I couldn't see the flags anymore. I was just having a hard time seeing. Um, and then um, I just kept following the trail, hoping that I was on the right path. And then I saw a jeep, and then I stopped the jeep, and I asked the guy. I said, "Are you with the race? Are you here to help me?" And then he's like, "I don't know. I don't know what race. I don't know what you're talking about. But do you need any help?" And I said, "No, I just need to get to the finish line." And he said, "Well, I can take you to the finish line, but but I said, oh no, I had to actually walk. I can't get a ride." And he said, "Well, good luck." So I just kept going. And then once I go, it was getting dark, and he was, I think, mile 215, 220, and it was already getting dark up there. And then I catch up to another runner, so I joined with him. And then at that time, somehow I got this energy out of the blue. I got energy. I was ready to run faster. And then we started running. I was able to see the trail. I was able to see the flag. Somehow, I don't know how I got that energy, but I was able to keep going. And that helped me a lot, because I was running out of time and I still had a lot of miles to go. So running that fast helped me a lot. But after mile 220, once again I started losing energy. I was starting to go downhill again. And once again, I didn't know, or we didn't know where the trail was. We couldn't see the flags. It was already dark. We were losing time. It was already approaching 11 p.m. And then two more runners caught up to us. So at that time, it was four of us. So the four of us were trying to figure out where the trail was. We had our watches with the maps, but the GPS were making no sense. It was telling us to go a different way. So we were having a hard time trying to find the flags and the trail. And up there, it was pitch black. You couldn't see anything. So none of us were able to find the trail. So we just kept going, following this trail, hoping it was the right one. But we were walking by that time, so time was running out. So we were about mile 237, 238 when so some of us were already hallucinating. I was hallucinating again. I was freezing. So one of the runners gave me his emergency blanket because I was having a hard time just staying warm. So we were just walking. We thought, there's not enough time to make it to the finish line on time. So we just walked, and then the medical director and a few of his crew found us on the trail when we were about 3 miles to the finish line. So we got a DNF. No, we didn't finish on time because when he found us, it was about 10 p.m. So we were a few miles short to the finish, and we didn't know. We thought we didn't even know if we were on the right trail. So when he found us, we realized that we were on the right trail, but it was already after 11 p.m. So he just gave us a ride to on his truck to the finish. And by that time, it was five of us, five runners.
Dang, dude. How'd
So
you feel? I mean,
yeah, well, that night I was so out of it that I didn't care. I just wanted to go to sleep.
yep.
You know, I was having a hard time walking, having a hard time um, not knowing what I was doing. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got some sleep at the hotel that I felt horrible that I didn't finish.
But you had finished this before. So at
Yeah.
least you had finished it before. But you didn't finish it this time. And
No.
after all those miles, that probably sucked really bad.
Yeah. You know, I knew each section. I knew where the aid stations were because I done it the year before. You
Yeah.
know, but that's just what happens when you run ultra. Sometimes you finish them. Sometimes you won't. You never know what you're gonna run into each time.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
That's tragic, man. 237 miles.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
I wasn't planning or wanting to finish and top or anything. I just wanted to finish just like every other race. You know. So, but this one, I guess I went too slow, and that I didn't have enough time to take a nap to be able to go faster. So that made me um, run out of time.
Mm-hmm. And the cutoff is 4 days, pretty much.
The cutoff it's 110 hours, like 114 hours.
Okay. Yeah, math. That is, if it's 114. Yeah, it's almost 5 days. That's 4 and 3/4 days if it's 414, or sorry, 114, 114 hours. Anyway, that's a long time to be running. Like, you consider the 100 milers being 24 hours of running about, and that's just next level.
Yeah, but even before my first Moab 240, I paced two friends, 2 different years. So I already knew the trail. I already knew what to do, where, and all of that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
well, not even that, Sometimes you're not gonna finish.
Well, Jorge, you're only 41 and you have so many years left. What what is next in your list of adventures, man, that you have to do,
Uh,
that you want to do?
this year,
I mean, this year, next
uh,
year, what do you think you want to do from here?
I was gonna keep running more ultras. I'm not, until I'm old and I can't run anymore.
Yeah. Do you, do you have any specific ones in mind that you're mapping out?
Yeah, next year I wanna do the Monster 300.
300 monster?
Actually, no. First, I want to do the Cocodona 250. And if I finish that, then I want to do the Monster 300, which is a new one.
Where's that?
The Cocodona,
No, the monster.
it's in Arizona.
Arizona and
Huh?
Cocodona is too, right?
Hmm.
What is it with all these being in the desert areas?
Yeah, I'm not excited to
Flat?
run in Arizona. I'm not excited to run there because it's worse than Moab.
Really? Well,
But
yeah.
at
Dang.
least I have experience running in the desert.
Yes, you do. You sure do. Dang.
Yeah,
You'll
but
have to let us know how the 300 is different than the 240.
yeah, those extra 60 miles are gonna be big difference
Yeah.
because that's 100K basically.
Yep. Just another 100K. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, well, first
Dang, man.
I wanna finish, the Cocodona 250, which is a very, very hard ultra. So I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to finish it, but whenever I finish it, then I'll sign up for the Monster 300.
Awesome. Just keep trying.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's
still
awesome, man.
and keep doing my Utah Valley Marathon each year, which I do. I run that every year.
Very nice. Keeping it local.
Yeah,
Um, Jorge, thank you for coming on today and sharing with us like your adventures, all the things you've done. Do you know how many ultra marathons you've run?
no, I I lost track.
Lost track.
I was keeping track when I was doing the 50 milers and the 50K, but once I started running
Yeah.
100 milers and more, uh, I stopped keeping track.
Yeah. That is crazy. That's awesome. I don't think I've brought anyone on with as much experience as you have with ultra marathons, which is really cool. I'm glad we got to hear like your story and your perspective today. Um, I appreciate you giving us your time to come on
Yeah,
and share your stories.
this year I have the Wasatch 100 and I have the Moab 240 again.
Again,
I wasn't happy with what happened
gotta do
last
it
year.
again. Yeah, we gotta finish that.
I gotta finish it. Yeah,
And the Wasatch
yeah.
is a lot of gain.
So those two I have for the rest of the year.
Dang, man. And you'll just keep running.
I'm
Yeah.
actually working on um starting my own 200.
Oh, yeah?
Starting my own company. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah,
Where do you want it to be?
I wanted to start either at the Payson Canyon and finish somewhere in the big Cotawin Canyon, somewhere around those canyons. But I want to hit all these main canyons: the Hobo Creek Canyon, all the Park City, all of those. trails and canyons. I want to hit every one of them, or start up there in Sandy and then finish in Payson.
Doesn't seem that far.
No, I still don't know how many miles will that be. But if I need to add more between those two places, like do um, um, where you go around or come back the same and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I wanted it to be at least 200 because we don't have that many in Utah. We only have the Moab 240. That's it.
Yep. I mean, we've only got how many 100-milers? Well, we have a few 100-milers considering South Utah and Northern Utah.
Yeah, so I thought having another 200 miler would be a good idea.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Let me know how that goes. That's a sweet project to have. I want to bring a 50K up to Logan someday because we only have a 50-miler and a 100-miler. We need something more entry level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Utah is perfect place because we have so many canyons, so many trails that some people never even heard of them.
I know, yeah. So that's a good spot. Jorge, final question is there are many people listening to this podcast that are newer to ultra running, or maybe they haven't even signed up for their first ultra yet. They're just trying to learn about it and see if it's something they want to do. But what final advice would you give those newer folks as they're getting into this sport?
I will tell them to just keep it easy, just work your way up, from half marathons, full marathons, 50K, maybe 100Ks, then 100 milers, and try to run as many miles as you can, but um, without overdoing it so you don't get injured, and also add in a lot of cross training because that will help you with or the overuse of your knees and your ankles, and um, have have friends, have family that want to support you, that want to be there, because that helps a lot when you are running ultras and you're having a hard time. Having friends or having even strangers cheering you on, that it's a big booster, and just keep running, keep running. Ultras are hard, but just don't give up. Finish one, and then I promise you that you want to do another one.
That is true, Jorge. Just look at you.
Because
Just keep doing them.
there's been
They're
times
addicting.
where I'm running an ultra and I tell myself, this is it. I don't want to keep doing this. This is hard. But then once I'm done, oh, when's the next one?
Yeah. Yeah. I Yeah, that is so true.
And
It's
running,
so hard, but
yeah,
you do it anyways.
and running is good for you. It's very, very beneficial. It helps you in many ways.
Yeah.
It's a good sport to get into.
Yeah.
But just be patient and just take your time. There's no need to rush into an ultra. There's no need. You can take your time running um, marathons and 50Ks. Just take your time.
Awesome. Thanks for that advice, Jorge. I appreciate it. Thanks again for coming on. And to those still listening, make sure to check out the show notes. We may have a link to Jorge's Strava if he's on there, and we may have some other links like the Ordinary to Ultra Facebook group and the Strava group if you're looking to chat with other new ultra runners and folks getting into the sport. Yeah, so check that out. And thanks again, Jorge. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey, your host Brendan here. I just wanted to thank you personally for listening to today's episode. As someone preparing for my own first ultramarathon, I've found these conversations to be super valuable, and I hope they are for you as well. Whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or somewhere else, make sure to follow or subscribe so you know when the next episode comes out. Also, make sure you check out the show notes of this episode. There's a link to sign up for the Ordinary to Ultra email newsletter, to join our Facebook and Strava groups where you can meet other people striving to run their first ultra marathon, and see any links that our guests may have provided as well. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next episode.